As these divers are doing a giant strike, they are heading towards a dive against debris here in Sønderborg, Denmark, at Dokken, a dry dock sunken in the middle of the shipping lane that serves as a cave for human trash. So the goal of the dive today is for these divers to bring back as much trash as possible for a team on land to sort into categories. But before I show you just how much rubbish we managed to collect, I want to give you a short briefing on how we planned this whole dive. Because as I told you, the wreck is sunken in the middle of the shipping lane. And though 60 meters distance to the bridge might not seem far, bear in mind that it's a sandy bottom and visibility can go as low as half a meter. The minute you start picking up debris from the seabed, you silt out the area completely. And then there can be currents. The current is usually pretty mild, but were you to navigate from the bridge to the wreck using a compass in very low visibility, you could easily miss the dive site. The solution to this was to lay out temporary lines for the divers to follow so that navigation is made easy. We wanted to make one line for going out, one line for coming back, and the jump in between the two lines. This is easier said than done though, because there is nowhere on this sandy bottom to tie on a line. And the topography also changes along the way. And my goal was to get a navigation line that would neither be floating in mid-water nor be hidden in the sandy bottom. I wanted it just about half a meter elevated from the sea floor. So a day in advance, I made a preparation dive with a couple of dive buddies of mine, and we brought along these huge screws using a lift bag. They were then screwed into the seabed. And once that was done, it was actually very easy to attach the line and make exactly that navigation lane that I was dreaming about. But let's head back to the map for a little bit, because I want to show you how we divided the site into 3 areas. If we look at the wreck first, here I have a group of divers that I'd like to call the collectors. They need to be pretty experienced divers since they are diving in the middle of the shipping lane. The event is planned so that the heavy boat traffic hasn't really begun yet. We are just leaving winter, starting spring, so there's hardly any boat traffic, but out of principle, these divers need to be pretty self-reliant because there's a long swim back. Once the collectors have filled their nets, they only return halfway to the jump where they leave the full bags, cross to the second line where they can find empty bags, go back to the wreck, collect some more rubbish, go back to the line, and so forth until they have to end their dive. The full nets of trash are then brought back to the dry team by the group of divers that I'd like to call the delivery service. But let's descend into the dive itself. At this pole outside the bridge where the line starts. We follow the line and find the empty nets. Take an empty net with you. Continue along the line out to the wreck. And this is where the fun begins. So much to be picked up that the nets are full in no time. This is such a good site to make a dive against debris. You don't have to search the trash once you're at the dive site. It lays there in piles. Once the divers from the delivery service have brought back the full nets to the team on land, They immediately cut up all the cans and other closed containers so that they can take out fish, crabs, or other living creatures. All the debris then gets separated into categories, counted and weighed for registration. And here's what we found. So 12 divers having an average dive time of 40 minutes, we actually managed to pull out 51.9 kilos of garbage. And this is quite a lot when you think about that it's mainly lightweight items such as plastics and 114 beverage cans. These findings have of course been uploaded to the Project Aware Dive Against Debris database. And before I end this video, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who participated. And if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm at Underwater Ambassador on Instagram, and you can also leave your questions in the comment field below.